Good morning, everybody, or whoever's going to watch this. Could be everybody, could be nobody. But anyway, I wanted to discuss for a brief interim about the podcast between Randy Blockett and Dave Mercer from a week or two ago. I have, utmost respect for Randy. Randy's, he's a staple. He was one of the guys that was in it years ago. He's put his time in, and he's an environmentalist. He's looking out for the environment. I'm fine with all that, but the bandwagon about getting forward-facing sonar banned and only scientists should have them because to study fish, and he's just going to stay on the bank and catch those fish because he said there's fish when he's fishing the banks. He's looking out there in the bigger water, and he sees look out there and he says, oh yeah, there's fish out there. He's going to leave them alone. He's only going to deal with the ones up here. Well, so he doesn't want to beat up on the fish out there, so he'll beat up on the ones on the bank. And when you fish, you fish. Whether you're fishing in 2 foot of water, 5 foot of water, or 25, 30 foot of water, you're fishing. You have different techniques that you use. You're flipping a Texas rig or a shaky head up at the bank, or you're doing throwing a drop shot with a robo worm in 25, 30 foot of water. Do I think the fish have issues when they come up from that deep? Yeah. You have to fizz them. You have to, they have their bladder like a submarine, and they have ballast in them to keep a fish, where they can go up and down in the water column and where they float upright. If the submarine's ballast is off, it's going to flip over sideways and be floating, 50 feet underwater sideways. And so you've got to have the correct ballast. And when you catch a fish that deep, he's released, it's like when you go in a swim pool. If you go in a swim pool, you take a deep breath, you're floated up. And then when you let out the deep breath, your body sinks. Okay? Same for fish. They have an air bladder. And when they come up like that, it fills them up full of air, and you have to fizz them and basically let the air out so they can sink back down again. And so, there's 2 different kind of ways people fizz, or really 3, some people say. One, you go through the mouth with a fizzer. The other one is you go through their side, behind their fin. Some people squeeze them. I don't think that's probably the best way. When you've got gas on your chest, nobody comes up and squeezes you so you burp. But, it'll be uncomfortable. But I think that, if you do it properly, there's nothing wrong with it. If you're going to fish out there, you need to have the equipment to do it. You have the knowledge to fish out there, and you treat the fish with respect. Some fish may not make it. Some may not. But at the same time, you might catch a fish in 2 foot of water that has just choked your jig, or choked, your shaky head, or whatever it is, Texas rig, lipless crank, whatever you catch it on. If especially like a slow moving bait, like if you're throwing a crawl on a T-rig, or even a Carolina rig, for that matter. Carolina rig, the bite is subtle when you're fishing, because when you don't really feel that bite on a C rig, you just feel the pull. And so with that, you've got to you've got to pay attention, because fish, when they eat something, they gulp it again, and they gulp it again, and the muscles in their body pushes it down inside of them. And so that's how they eat food. Well, if you get if you're fishing shallow and you don't realize a fish is on, and you wait and oh, that's a fish, and you set the hook and you've gut hooked them. Well, guess what? You know, there's a good chance that fish might not make it because they're going to bleed like a stuck pig. I'll tell you a trick for it. Mountain Dew. If a fish is bleeding, if you catch a fish and you know, he's bleeding and you get the hook out, you always keep a long pair of needle nose pliers. Long needle nose pliers. I don't mean little short ones. I mean invest in the long ones. And get you a hemostat, you know, a long hemostat. And when you have those fish, you take them long needle nose pliers, reach down in there, and you can pop it out of them. And if they start bleeding, just take a little bit of Mountain Dew, pour it down their throat, and the carbonation, it heals that spot that's bleeding in them, and put them in the live well for a little while. And then if you're fishing a tournament, I mean, I've had one stuck early in the morning and bleeding like crazy. My fishing partner, he caught it actually, and he was bleeding like crazy. He's like, man, this fish ain't gonna make it. I said, no, it's gonna make it. So I poured some Mountain Dew down his throat, put him in a live well, and we weighed that fish in at 3 o'clock and carried him back down, put him in the water, and let him go about his business. You know, we have G-Juice in our live well. We pump out bad, old water, pump new water in, and we do what we're supposed to do as, fishermen and tournament anglers and conservationists to protect that fish, to give it another day for it to go out and swim and create new fish, be caught again for somebody else to enjoy. And there's ways around it. So the forward facing sonar hit that Randy's on, I mean, every video, I watched him for years. And early on, he's showing you how to rig a swim bait. People don't rig swim baits like this. Rub your worms, rub some of the salt off your worms. All the different tricks he teaches are great. But then, it's like now every video he's talking about a crankbait, and in the middle of it he says, yeah, but for you forward facing sonar guys, y'all just suck. Don't even worry about listening to what I'm telling you. Just fish your own way. I mean, it's just ridiculous that he's so anti forward facing sonar. If you even stop and look at it, the cool aspect of it is amazing, but for what it is. But anyway, I just want to put my 2 cents in. That's what I got. Maybe 3. But anyway, y'all have a good day, and we will chat another time.